All right, GM everybody. It's another weekly batch analysis, and yeah, it's not been a very good week for me in terms of results, but let's hope it's gonna be decent in terms of rules followed. So if I jump into analysis here, you can see that my results were -5. Not very happy with that. I took a couple of trades. Uh, I've been thinking a little bit about like the entry, the 10-second entry, because my trading buddies, most of them trade on the 1 minute, and they don't even get the types of entries that I do because on the 10 second I get to participate in a very, very early momentum. And maybe that's not the best thing. I don't know. It's tough to say. I'm gonna have to really evaluate whether I'm following rules well. That's the most important thing, of course, and that's what I want to evaluate myself on. But I would really like to see some good results too. What can I say? To, so to say, reap some reward from following these rules and crafting the system, right? But yeah, whatever, we'll see. So this week I have a couple of trades: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I think I didn't take all of them. Maybe I took five, but that was enough to get -5. So let's get right into it, I guess. So last week, just gonna check here real quick. I was pretty happy with last week. Good C's, good V's, good E's overall. That means good entries. Overall, very happy with performance. I hope I'll be able to say that again. These are like some kind of contacts that I did not want to take, especially. Oh, I see, I see. So this was a C that I traded that I was not too happy with. You can see it's very choppy and like it's kind of stage 1E, you could say. So that I do not want to trade, hopefully. And actually, last week would have been really good. Oh, I remember I didn't take two trades because one, silver wasn't even on my watch list, and two, I don't quite remember what the second was, but yeah, that's okay. So this week, oh yeah, I lost track of a market. I see, I see. So yeah, this week I was mostly focused on not losing track of any market, and other than that, it's all the same. I'm wondering if there was anything that I created this week, maybe. Oh yeah, yeah. I played around a little bit with understanding when does a trend direction actually fail, and this, I think this is gonna come into play this week. So the way that I see it, I'm just gonna go over this very, very quickly, is that when I have an ongoing uptrend like here, right, we're gonna see that there's gonna be some kind of demand. And of course, whenever demand fails, we assume reaccumulation, right? So there's going to be a sell-off over here until we reach the lowest point of the sell-off. And pretty much after the market fails below this level, like convincingly, I that's basically a DMB, right? Like on the big fractal time frame, because that's going to be this as the DMB, and that sets a new trend direction. But until here, in the future, I really don't want to trade anything shorts here because everything here, in my understanding, is for reaccumulation purposes. I would expect some kind of stage 1 to happen here or already some kind of uptrend to happen. Because here, yeah, I still assume reaccumulation. It should really pop now and it should continue. But if it doesn't, this whole thingy, this start of the new trend up, is going to become the redistribution and it fails down, right? At this point, when I get a confirmed loss of this level, this is a confirmed redistribution and I can follow MMBs to the downside. One important caveat is that, as we know with Wyckoff schematics, there can be springs here to confirm an overall accumulation schematic. That means that very often, like even after all of this, price can still come down, liquidate all of this nonsense, and then just continue higher. So that's something to be wary of, and that's why I want to see a convincing break to the downside before I start following MMBs to the downside. And one nice example from this week was gold. Of course, I want to keep track of my C, the 60-minute, which would not really allow me to trade this on the 6-minute. Something that I still need to evaluate, but I think that's the right decision. But anyway, here we can see some kind of uptrend, right? This is the last demand zone. So as that demand zone breaks, there's going to be a sell-off, and that's going to lead us to the lowest point of the sell-off, which is over here. And now I assume this to be all for reaccumulation purposes, to grab some liquidity on the downside and resume the uptrend. So this low, once it breaks convincingly, which it does over here, I should technically be allowed to trade shorts. And there was one trade over here this week that if I took it, I think it would either be a -1 or maybe a break even. But then as it continues lower, there was another trade right over here that if I took it would be a beautiful +5, because that's already like, usually these moves are, from my experience, quite violent. Anyway, yeah, that was just a little bit of theory for myself. And let's jump into the trades. So first off, let me get the right pen. All right, first off, we got a... Oh, I didn't take this one. Right. Because it wasn't really on my radar. This is a JER30 short. And as you can see, it's kind of in a stage one. Like when I took a look at this, I didn't like it too much. So here, right, I have a stage one over here that breaks higher, comes back, and then breaks higher again. So on the 1 hour, I kind of have like a DMB, and that should set a new direction. However, honestly, I think this is all just one big stage one big accumulation or distribution schematic, and this is not a trending market. It's that's all that it comes down to. This is really not a trending market, and I should not have watched this. The reason why I included it here is because I saw it in Trade Talk. Once again, man, once again got baited by Trade Talk, even though I'm trying my best not to really participate these days because I'm just doing my own thing. But I kind of got baited, and I saw some people taking gold shorts, so I looked at gold shorts, and like on the lower time frame, on the 6 minute, it looked amazing, right? But on the 1 hour, I felt like it's really, really stuck. And even though this trade could have worked out, or like the previous trades could have worked out, I think in the long term, if I'm thinking about like the next 1,000, 10,000 trades, if I continue to allow myself to trade in these moments, I think it's going to be, I don't know if I can argue it's going to be negative EV, but I think it's most certainly going to be worse EV than if I trended, I mean traded in a already trending market somewhere over here, right? Once it breaks out of all of this nonsense. So I already know that I'm not going to be happy with this. So this wasn't even on my radar, I believe. If I just take a look at this, JER30 didn't take, yep, it wasn't on my radar. But then, as this happened, I continued following the short, which is here. I took 2 trades on JER30 and I took a -1. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the trade itself. So I already said why I don't like the context too much, simply because it's kind of stage one. So I'm immediately gonna include that here, stage one. And I should not have traded that. But on the 6 minute, you can see that there is pretty amazing momentum. So this line over here is this line, right? So here it breaks out with a lot of strength, a lot of momentum, inefficiency left behind, active momentum cycle, and it pulls back. So here on the 1 minute, what we can see is somebody pressed the buy button, right? Then it comes back and it fails the momentum cycle. So whenever that happens, I immediately assume reaccumulation. And if I get a nice DMB, I'm going to take it. And here, this DMB is pretty nice. I'm just going to move this for a little while. You can see that the MB1 has formed in its entirety below the EMAs. Then it had a nice MB1 validation with inefficiency and stuff, taking us above the EMAs, and then it pulled back, supported by the EMAs, just wicks them a little bit, proportional, like same size MBs. I think this trade was really, really nice. This was a 1 minute entry, and it taps me in. Let's see how I managed real quick. Taps me in on this candle over here. I move to break even. I guess I reduce risk twice, right? No, I move to break even completely because it's already quite far, I guess. And yeah, that comes back and taps me out for a break even. So on the 6 minute, this is crazy momentum. Good momentum for sure. Okay, and this 1 minute entry was beautiful, in my opinion. So perfect entry. and that ended up being a break even. But overall, I'm going to call this a mistake. I'm going to call it a mistake for the very simple reason of trading in a stage 1, which I do not want to do, honestly, in the long term. So that sucks a little bit. I got baited into something that I shouldn't, but yeah, I'm not losing any money on this. It's still forward test. I'm still learning. What's important is that I take my notes here, that I learn my lesson, and I don't do it again. So it was this Monday, by the way, June 10. I don't know what was June 10. Yeah, June 10 was a Tuesday. Okay. So overall, why can I not modify this? Oh, I see. I have to do this again. All right. So overall, 60 minutes, ugly context, stage 1, should not have traded. 6 minutes was really good momentum. 1 minute was a good entry, and management-wise, it was perfect. So overall, I'm gonna call this a mistake because of stage 1. I didn't take it, and I didn't take it for the right reason. I just got baited into it. So I didn't take this for the right reasons. I just got baited in by Trade Talk. That's a mistake. Yep, should not get baited into things by Trade Talk, because ultimately, although we are a community and we're trying to help each other, we are all crafting our very own systems, and we have to execute independently. And I simply cannot be taking things outside of my rules just because somebody else took them. That's stupid. Yeah, I did that, but shit happens. Anyway, I follow that because I continue following Dirt Dirty. So here, it's the same stuff. It's stage 1. It's exactly the same. But here, let's just check what happened on the 6 minute, right? So before, I was trading somewhere over here, and then it pulls back, right? Pulls back and loses its momentum cycle. So immediately, the first thing that I assume is that this is going to be for reaccumulation purposes. There's going to be some kind of stage 1, and then there's going to be a breakout that I can follow. That's exactly what happens. Here I get my resistance, or well, in this case it's support, but I have it inverted because it's short. But yeah, here is basically my accumulation MB. And here it breaks out on the 1 minute. Huge momentum, right? Looking pretty sweet. And pulls back into the prime area of the rising 10, 20 EMA. So I'm valid to go down to my 10-second and look for an entry. So this is how my entry looks like. Big fat stage 2, really strong, and breaks down a little bit. Still above the 50 and everything looks good. I also draw in the containment line, the diagonal, whatever you want to call it, and I'm looking for a nice DMB. And this DMB, I think, looks amazing. What's important is that MB1 forms below the EMAs, which it does over here. MB1 validation is very strong, and MB2 is proportional size and at least one resting candle, right? The high cannot be higher than the previous high in order to make it valid. This was a valid trade. It was absolutely beautiful, but that just taps me in and instantly fucks me up. And that happens, that's pretty normal. I would say those are pretty much the best losses. It's like we always have to take risk, right? There's nothing like a confirmed trade, a guaranteed trade. It doesn't exist. If so, the way that I explain this to myself is that this move, somebody like bought into it, and that was it, right? They just clipped this one buy, and that was pretty much it. And here, the previous direction continued. If they were to continue clipping in and buying up more, this is where they would do it. But if they didn't and they intended to take it down, the best place to grab some liquidity is right over here. That's exactly what happens. Taps in some breakout traders and then liquidates them. Very nice. Well played, Composite Puppy. Anyway, this is a stage 1 breakout on very good momentum. And this is amazing momentum on the 1 minute. And I would say it's a perfect entry on the 10-second. So overall, with the 6, 1, and 10, I'm pretty happy. I'm just not happy with taking the trade here in the ugly context. So unfortunately, this is also a mistake. So 60-minute ugly context stage 1, 6-minute amazing momentum, 1 minute good momentum, 10-second good entry. Management-wise, nothing to do, so it was perfect. So tax, overall, it was a mistake because it was a stage 1. All right, moving on. We got a break even on EU. So, EU. You have some kind of stage 1, some kind of sideways nonsense over here. And see, I already started trading stuff here because here there's a momentum cycle and it broke down. Instant assumption, some kind of stage 1, and as it breaks higher, I even looked for the DMB over here to get my direction, and I started trading here, and then I traded here as well. Perfect places to trade. This is exactly where I find edge. Beautiful. I'm very happy with that. And then it continued going sideways a little bit, created some kind of resistance here, and it broke out. And as it broke out, you can see I already started following. I think these were really, really nice trades, perfect trades, and it continues going higher, higher, higher on a lot of strength. There is an argument to be made that maybe this was a little bit overextended, but for the 10 second, I think it was all right. Well, let's take a look on the 6-minute. So 6-minute, we have some kind of stage 1 over here, so this definitely is a reset. This is a reaccumulation, so any impulse here can go up to MMB4 or up to like a certain distance. I'm not quite sure regarding the MMB4 rule for gauging overextension, but overall, if I was to count this, I would say this was MMB1, this was probably MMB2, so we would be in MMB3 territory. So by no means does this look overextended. One thing that I don't necessarily like too much is that maybe this was a blow off top. Blow off top being the last like place when you have a trend, right, and then it just catapults itself higher. That's usually like the last reach, and rarely do we see that go further. So maybe this is a bit overextended. I'm not quite sure. If I take a look at the 1 minute, this is the stage 2. Very nice stage 2. I mean, it dips back a little bit sometimes, but overall, it's very strong. It doesn't like come all the way back to liquidate stuff. It has these pops away, leaving behind inefficiency. I see a lot of these boxes here. I like it. It looks good. Here it pulls back into the prime area of 1020 rising EMA. And if we take a look at the 10 seconds, here it loses its momentum cycle. So I assume a stage 1 here. And here, big fat strength comes back in. So if I get a double MB here, I should be valid to take it. And sure enough, this is my double MB. So I would say it's somewhere over here. Of course, it's black again. I don't understand why, but whatever. So this would be my MB1, and okay, copy paste, and this is my MB2. So very proportional size. MB1 forms below the EMAs, forms below the 50, but it's just for the MB purpose and immediately shoots higher. This validation is pretty nice. Maybe I could have actually taken the trade over here, but the reason I didn't is because it wasn't proportional, right? This MB was much, much smaller than this MB. So I was just checking if this could like be a bigger impulse and then the real MB happens over here. And that's pretty much what happened. Now I have proportional same size MBs, and that's when I take my buy stop. What happens is it goes a little bit higher, and pretty much on this candle, I move to break even, and yeah, that doesn't sustain itself and falls down. Is that how I managed? Let me just check real quick. Yeah, this is where I move to risk-free completely. The reason why I don't reduce risk twice here is simply because there is just, on Ment Funding, there is a one-tick spread on EU, so I just move to complete risk-free. There's no point in reducing risk twice. So yeah, overall, I think this was a very nice trade. And just to bring the point home, you can see how different this context is versus this context, right? This is sideways thingy. Like if you look from left to right, this is like it started here and it ended here. It's pretty much on the same level. Like, whereas this one started somewhere over here and it's ending here. It's pretty clearly trending higher, right? This is a little trick that I learned from Anton, the left to right. Just look from the left to right. Does it look like it's going from the left to the right like this? If so, it's a trending market. If it doesn't, it's probably stage one. It's a very simple visual cue that is quite helpful. And yeah, this is clearly a trending market. I like this context a lot. Definitely good momentum over here. And that's going to be the story of this entire trade. Good momentum over here. I don't even think it was overextended, to be honest. Good momentum over here. And this entry, I think, was perfect. Perfect entry. So overall, this is a perfect trade, in my opinion. It really meets my rules perfectly. All right, perfect. Moving on, I have a -1 on gold. So just checking the dates here real quick. So this is June 10/10, 12/13, and this is all on June 13 as well, which is okay. So this is Friday. These last four trades are all on Friday. So let's see what gold set up to do. So we can see that gold went higher over here, then started like chopping a little bit, stage one kind of distribution, grabs liquidity here and dumps. I immediately assume that it's going to create a stage one over here and eventually break out, which it does. And then I wait for the DMB for the new direction, which happens over here. And I already start trading, as you can see. These are perfect moments to trade. I didn't get to trade anything here because that was Asia, I believe. But here we have a trending market, active momentum cycle, aggressively sloping EMAs. This is amazing context. This is exactly where I want to trade. Very good. If I go to the 6 minutes, we can see there's a previous stage 2 over here that starts reaccumulating. Again, instantly assume stage 1 and chop, so I don't trade any of this nonsense. I always want to see a resistance being formed, some level where price is having difficulties to go through, and then when it finally goes through that level, I look to continue it higher. There is an argument to be made that maybe I should have simply waited for it to break higher here and then start following. Not quite sure about that, but this already expanded on very good momentum. So as it pulled back, I'm like, okay, this is probably a new momentum cycle and this has potential to go higher. So I think I traded in the right place here. Anyway, if I take a look here, this is a very strong stage 2. Like, yeah, it chops here around a little bit. The reason for that is simply because of the supply and the resistance. Simply, like, every time somebody see that there are sells over here dropping on the market, right? People already see that, and of course, there's going to be some kind of reaction here. Like, some people are going to sell into this. Maybe all of those support resistance traders are going to start taking shorts here, and they eventually get liquidated. And that's exactly when I want to come in. And here we have, yeah, the strong stage 2. Then it starts correcting, right? It starts trading below the 50 for a while. So I draw my diagonal, my containment line. And here I have a beautiful, beautiful MB1 validation and a nice little pullback. So let's take a look where the MBs actually are. I would argue, let me see. So where is the MB here? I would say it's probably this. Let's say that's the MB. Like, yeah, there are some wicks around that, but that's probably the MB. So this, yeah, this looks pretty nice. This is a nice pullback. Yeah, I think this looks amazing. This is a very, very nice entry, especially the like it. Basically, this is exactly how most of my winners look like. It's like it starts correcting and then it just starts moving, and you get into it and it continues. I double checked with all of my winners again and made sure that I'm really entering on the right type of entry criteria that I want. And this is really what all of my winners pretty much look like. Unfortunately, this just taps me in and instantly fucks me up. Like, this was pretty mean. And it gets even worse. It gets worse in the next trade. I'll show you. But anyway, I think this trade was nice. This trade was really nice. So good momentum on the context. Stage 1 breakout on the validation. On good momentum. Very good momentum on the 1 minute. And I would say this was a perfect entry. So I'm very, very happy with this trade. So yeah, that was perfect. Unfortunately, it was a -1 though. So I'm gonna mark that up. Management-wise, nothing to do. So yeah, that was perfect. Nice. And then I take another -1 on gold, and yeah, it gets mean, and I'll tell you exactly why. So this happens right afterwards. I think I have a comment here. No, I don't. All right. It happens right afterwards. So look at this 10 second, right? This is my 10-second previous entry, and this is what happens with it. And this is the next entry. So what I did here is I marked up the demand zone over here because also what I have noticed, if I wanted to enter only on the 1 minute, right? One way to do that would really be to buy stop the candle that creates inefficiency within the pullback where I want that pullback to happen, right? Inside here. So I would pretty much buy stop this candle. I'm not doing that, but it's just something that I have noticed. Once inside that pullback inefficiency is created, buy stopping here with, let's say, a stop below the whole reaccumulation, I think works pretty well. Of course, needs some more refinement and stuff to not take every single one of these because that would it happens all the time. But yeah, that allows me to draw a demand zone, and pretty much as long as price is above here, I expect it to go higher, right? So that's why I drew it in. And here we can see I kept it in here, and I wanted to see, hey, maybe I will get another nice setup over here. I was waiting for that because maybe it will dip in here and maybe it's going to create a spring just like it did over here. That can still happen. And then if there was a really nice DMB, I would take it. And I didn't take this trade, first of all. Wait, it's not tagged that way, but it should be. I did not take this trade. I have it tagged here. Yeah. Did not take this trade for the reason that this DMB was ugly. This doesn't look anything like the DMBs that I normally trade. It's kind of loose. It's choppy. Uh, yeah, it loses its EMAs. Kind of flat. It pulls back way too deep. Like I didn't like it. That's why I didn't take it. And of course, this trade ends up being the +5. And that really sucks. That sucks to see, but it is what it is. So it's happening in the exact same context. So I can just copy that over. Very good momentum over here. Stage 1 breakout on good momentum. Everything's the same here. And this entry was, in my opinion, ugly. And there will be ugly entries that end up working. That's completely normal. Ugly entry. And it's tempting, isn't it? It's really, really tempting to just be like, oh man, I missed a trade here that would have worked. Maybe I need to now adjust my rules and stuff. And that, in my opinion, would be a huge, huge mistake because that would be kind of submitting to single trade fallacy, right? Where you take one trade from a set of, let's say, 300 and you adjust your rules to that one trade so that you can take it next time. But what you need to realize is that you're adjusting rules for thousands of trades in the future. And that means that you are going to be taking this trade 1,000 times. Or, well, not exactly, but that's how I'm imagining it because essentially that's what you allow yourself to do. And truth be told, I don't want to take this trade 1,000 times because, well, I don't have many winners that look like this. It's as simple as that. If I go into my collection of winners, which I have over here, not a single trade, not a single winner looks like that. And that's important to realize. It's very, very important to realize. So I'm not going to make any changes based on this. Yeah, I missed a +5, but shit happens, you know. That's just the game we play. And although it hurts and it would have taken me to break even this week instead of being -5, shit happens, you know? That's just the way it is. I should no, I should have taken this trade in the first place. I shouldn't have taken a few mistakes previously. But it's okay. It's okay. What can you do? So overall, this was a mistake. But actually, I did not take this trade, so it's not a mistake. It's actually good. It's good that I didn't take it. So anyway, this was very good context, very good momentum on all the other time frames, and the 10-second was an ugly entry. Management wise, wait. Ah, I'm still on this one. I'm still on this one. My bad. So yeah, this one was actually perfect. I see that's why it's like this. I see. My mistake. And yeah, this was a perfect trade. And this is the win that I did not take. Why didn't I take it? Didn't meet rules. Easy as that. Not even gray area. Just didn't meet rules. So good momentum pretty much everywhere. 10-second was ugly entry. Ugly why? I would say it was just choppy. Yeah, it's choppy. Management wise, okay, that's where I wrote some stuff. Didn't take this because the entry wasn't perfect. MB's kinda loose and big. Second MB pulling back way too much. But if I had taken it, this is where I would have reduced my risk. And after it broke higher above this structure, that's where I would be completely risk-free. And after some time, it reached +5. So management-wise, that would have been perfect. So I don't even know how to like tag this. I mean, I don't have a tag for this where I didn't take something and it's correct that I didn't take it. Uh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that later. But yeah, that's that gold trade. And then last trade of the week is oh, actually there's two. Oh, looks like I wait. What happened over here? Did I take this trade as well? Oh, there's one more trade on gold and I didn't. Oh, bro, what is happening here? Did I make some mistake? This is EU, this is gold, and this is also gold. Did I skip one gold trade? No, I didn't. My bad. Yeah, there's another trade on gold here. Okay. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, same context exactly, right? Here on the 6 minute. Yeah, so you can see I was pretty spot on to trade over here with my expectation to do this because that's exactly what it does, but I don't get to reap the benefits of that. And here, it continues higher, and I expect this to be a momentum cycle that could go way higher. And what happens over here? Ah, yeah, I see. Honestly, I think I forced this trade. I think I forced it. I was a little bit like frustrated from this happening, so maybe I chased the entry, and I took an entry that I was not supposed to take, simply because this stage two, I don't like this stage two. It's a bit weak in my opinion. It's a bit choppy, and I remember very clearly and vividly that I was checking this trade, and I mean checking this stage two, and I kind of talked myself into it, and I was like, nah, this is good enough. Is it though? Because yes, it does have acceleration away from the MBs. Yes, it does leave inefficiency behind, big chunky candles. But the problem here, in my opinion, is that there is a lot of big sell candles that take us like below the EMAs multiple times. Kind of sticks to the EMAs here, wicks deep, and like all kinds of nonsense that is not supposed to be there. I know that I looked for a trade over here. This one was invalid. I didn't even set up a buy stop here simply because it already took the floating supply over here, so I couldn't take it. I for a moment considered taking this trade, but again, I think this trade also took liquidity here, so I wasn't valid to take it. And as I was stalking this move, it moved higher a little bit and then it broke down. And here I looked for a DMB. So let's take a look how this DMB looked like. So I would argue this is the DMB right here. So yeah, this is very, very loose. This is very loose. This is not how my perfect entries look like whatsoever. Eh, and also it's just overall weak. I don't like it. I think I made a mistake here that I got a little bit emotional probably, and I chased something that I shouldn't have. And the problem is, you might think, well, if it doesn't meet your rules, why do you take it, right? Are you stupid, bud? And while I might be, like, what you have to realize is once you get emotional, it really, really affects the way your decision processes work. And this is something that is proven. And there is a really nice trading psychology podcast on this, where they literally talk about how when you trade, your your perception of risk is different. The key point to take home is that when you are just in your rational mind and you're not emotional, it's primarily your frontal cortex that is working and it's allowing you to be cold, analytical, objective, logical, rational, all of these things, right? But then once you get emotional, a different center of your brain starts activating, which is the amygdala. And the amygdala is responsible for fight and flight situations where you're just like fighting for survival and all of that. And it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with I, instinctive, so to say. And when that kicks in, literally your brain chemistry changes, and therefore your ability to be objective, rational, logical, and all of that gets severely diminished. And I think that's exactly what happened over here. I just I was emotional from this stuff over here, and that caused me to take this loss over here. I somehow just saw it differently, and I talked myself into it. To be fair, it's not the worst trade. It's not. It's like kind of gray area, but it's definitely not perfect. And if I could decide right now whether I want to take this trade or not, the answer would be no. But back then, yeah, I just took it. And this is something that I need to be careful about. And I'm going to make a note about this because this isn't the first time that this has happened to me where I chase a move because it either didn't give me an entry before or it somehow like fucked me up the way that this one did, where not only do I not catch the trade, but I first get a -1. And then it set up in a way that is not necessarily perfect. I don't take it, and that's the thing that ends up working, right? And all of a sudden, you feel some kind of FOMO. You start feeling things. And that's not a good thing in trading. You don't want to feel. And yeah, I definitely felt here. Definitely felt something here, and I need to be careful about that. So specifically when something like this happens, when emotional bamboozle takes place, I need to be extra careful to remain uh, level-headed, to remain logical, and not let it affect me in this way. This was simply, it's like it does meet rules, but it's not perfect by any means. So, yeah, that's ultimately how I'm going to approach it. Anyway, all of this is the same. Overall, like trading in a place of very good momentum in good context. So that by itself is already very nice. I like that. But then this entry over here was forced, most definitely, and it was not pretty. So ugly entry, weak stage 2, and choppy entry, I'm gonna say. Yeah, overall choppy. So yeah, this is gonna be a mistake. Oopsie. Let's jump back to Notion here. Where is it actually? Oh, I see. Let me just check the times here. This is definitely later, right? Yeah, so this trade happened. hmm Where's the time? I wish I had the time here as well. So this happened sometime around 1503. 1503, and that's the loss that I took. 1505, 1543? No way. I know that I originally didn't want to include this +5 because it was a little bit like it wasn't my rule, so I didn't even want to include it. But I thought, hey, I want to analyze this. I want to take a look at it during the weekend, so that's why I included it. So I just need to check the chronology here, the order. So this one was 1448-ish, 1450. Yep. Then this one was right after, right? Yes. So 14, let's say 1451. 1451, and now it should change the order here. Uh, yes. What the fuck? So this is the first trade. Sorry guys, this I need to get this correctly. Yeah, this is the first trade. That was a perfect trade, which was a -1. Yes. Then the next trade happens right after. I see, I see. I see. So this one is the 1451. All right, all right. 1451. Okay. And then this -1 over here happens at 1503. 1503. So now the order should be correct. -1, win that I didn't take, -1. Yep. All right, good, good. And the last thing is a trade on USD CAD. This was like kind of late on Friday, I think around like 17-ish. And that was the last trade for me in the week. So anyway, let's take a look. So we have an ongoing, you can see that by the 50 EMA, we have an ongoing uptrend over here. Loses momentum cycle, instantly assume some kind of stage 1 over here, right? And then it breaks out on extremely good momentum, right? So here we have the stage 1, that breaks out, MMB1 moving into MMB2 right now. So that's looking very, very nice. And here on the 1 minute, we have a strong, strong breakout, pulling back above the rising 1020. Perfect place to trade. And here, oh, I remember this one. I remember. This was not supposed to be a valid trade. This was not supposed to be a valid trade. But the reason why I failed, this is an execution error. The reason why I failed this one was because it happened so quickly, right? This is one of those times where the 10-second is kind of brutal and you just don't have time to make mistakes. And here, strong stage 2, right? Looks amazing, breaks down, creates an MB in its entirety below the EMAs. I'm just going to mark that up. So I would say that this is the MB. And then beautiful, strong stage 1, MB1 validation. And this is immediately where I started setting up the order because I saw, okay, once this starts pulling back, because this MB is so small, it's literally just 2 or 3 candles, I'm valid to take a single resting candle MB2. So I started setting it up, and I had to do it very, very quickly to calculate everything. And I remember I hit the buy button on the buy stop, and it immediately tapped me in. So I just about made it, but because I had to be so fucking fast, I didn't notice a tiny little detail that should have disqualified me from taking this trade. And that detail is that this high over here needs to be the highest high, and the next candle needs to either be an equal high or ideally a lower high. But I did not notice that this actually went one tick higher, which would disqualify this overall. So I was not supposed to take this trade, but I was just, I don't even know what to say. I did not execute perfectly here. I did not execute well. But anyway, I take this trade, starts going in my direction. There is even an argument to be made that maybe I could have broken even on this or reduced risk. I probably should have, but I didn't. I wanted to see just a tiny little bit more, like one more candle. Even if it went over here, I would have reduced risk already, but I didn't, and it tapped me out for a -1. But ultimately, as you can see, this is the high over here. This high is higher, so I should not have taken that trade. I shouldn't be in it. So that kind of sucks. But I was my idea of this trade was definitely correct. I was trading in the perfect area, but yeah, this happened to me the first time, to be honest. So I'm just gonna take a note about it, and I'm gonna pay more attention to this. That like unless I have a resting candle that is below, like once I have a high that is already higher than this, I don't even need to bother with setting up my order because it's not valid, right? But it's just one tick. It looked so, and because this candle is so chunky, I didn't see it. I didn't see it, and uh I was too busy setting up the order immediately. But yeah, yeah, this is just shit happens. It's okay. I'm glad this is happening on the forward test because if this happened on a live account, ugh, I would be cringing a bit. But yeah, it's good experience. So overall, though, I think the context and everything is beautiful here. Like here we have very good momentum and a trending market. That's beautiful. Here we have insane momentum. So we do over here. Everything is beautiful. And here this would be perfect except for this one little detail that this wasn't a valid MB2. So um, ugly entry. Well, it's not ugly, it's wrong. Okay. So MB2 wasn't valid, which makes this a mistake. Wow. Wow, wow. What a week, man. Lots of mistakes. Lots of mistakes. All right, so how are we going to do this? First, let me mark this up. Good context, good momentum, ugly entry, and I don't even have this here, MB2 invalid. So, right. Oh, I even have some comments here. This happened so damn quick. One 10-second resting candle that I didn't notice its high is higher than the previous candle, making this an invalid setup. Yep, exactly what I was talking about. So ultimately, this is a mistake. Uh, ugly entry. All right. Management-wise, there was nothing to do. Okay, okay. So, man, ugh, I'm cringing a little bit. That's a lot of mistakes this week. That's a lot of mistakes. So let me go to analysis real quick. So these are all the trades that I took. Actually, it's not too bad. It's 3 perfect trades and 2 trades that were mistakes. Hmm. One mistake was trading JER30, even though the context of JER30 was not ready at all for me. Just going to take a quick look at it over here. We can see that here. This is not the type of stage 1. I mean, this is not a trending market, right? I want to trade trending markets. That's the most important thing. So stage 1, not happy about that. Should not have traded here. I got baited into it. I'm just going to write this down. What went bad? So I got baited into trading something I wasn't supposed to trade. JER30 shorts. This is very bad. This is very, very bad, and I have to get better at it. This is like one of the big reasons why I'm not so active in Trade Talk, simply because I'm not really looking at stuff, because I know that it can have an influence on me. And I saw people taking the JER30 shorts, and I was like, let me make sense out of it. And that's also why I created this entire thing. And this entire thing is valid. Like, I like this. This is how I stick to a trade, to a market. But the problem is that I applied this on a V and not on the C. This needs to happen on the C first in order for me to actually trade the opposite direction, right? So yeah, that was most definitely a mistake, and I should not have gotten baited. And also, it was in stage one. Traded stage one context. That's, yeah, that's not good. I guess it shows some impatience, maybe. Something that I definitely need to work on. Doesn't happen too often, but the fact that it's still happening does not make me happy. I just, yeah, I need to get better at that. But that being said, what else was a mistake? Oh yeah, there was a mistake over here with the entry. Man, that's a very unique mistake that I have never done before. It's just, I don't even know. I'm gonna make a note about this, but mm, what do I even say? Like this is just, I would just call it shit happens. I don't think this is gonna happen many times again. So I have this little rule, not just for trading, but for life overall. When something happens once, it shit happens, like whatever. Just try not to make it again. If it happens twice, it's probably a coincidence, but once it happens three times, that's already a trend. And I have to take some kind of precaution and troubleshoot it. So once this happens three times, I will pay way more attention to it. I sincerely believe this is not going to happen many more times. But if I should write something down, it's pay took an invalid MB2. No lower high. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So these are my mistakes. And what went well? What went well is that I feel like I traded with momentum every time. Good momentum here, amazing momentum here, 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 here. This sucked. This sucked, right? This is the context that I didn't like. But on the V as well, huge momentum, huge momentum, huge momentum, huge momentum, huge momentum. Again, big momentum. Again, yeah, amazing. 1 minute, great momentum here, amazing momentum here. Everything is above the rising 1020. Everything has big, chunky rising candles pulling back to the 1020. And entry wise, let's take a look at the DMBs. This DMB was really nice. This DMB was really nice. This DMB was nice. This one was nice. This one was trash, and I didn't take it. This one was trash. I should not have taken this one. Yeah. This, okay. That's another mistake. Let me see. Did I actually? Why is it not here? Oh, wait, wait, wait. I actually, I didn't mark it as a mistake, did I? Is it this one? Yeah. This one is not perfect, man. This is marked up wrong. This is a mistake, and it's a mistake because of the entry. Ugly entry. So, yeah. I'm gonna also write a comment here. I got emotional here and chased the move. Yeah, this was a ugly, ugly, ugly entry. I'm gonna make a copy here and I'm gonna include it. 1 giga ugly entry. Well, it's not giga ugly, but I'm gonna say it is just so that I don't do it again. Yeah, this one. And I guess you can really see it, right? It's pretty clear how this looks different from all the others. The MB1 was okay. The MB2 was ugly. It's just way too loose, way all over the place. Wiki. This one was, well, if this actually was valid, it would be beautiful, but it wasn't valid. Unfortunate. So if I go back into analysis, yeah, I ended up making 3 mistakes and 2 perfect trades. So definitely not the best. If I had not made mistakes, let me filter out mistakes as well. How do I do that? Another. Wow, I cannot do that. Okay. I cannot use tag twice, huh? Okay, well I have to create an advanced filter then. Add filter rule and tags does contain Actually, no. What am I doing, bro? uh, wow. I I just fucked up. Can I go back? I can't. Fuck. Alright, let me delete this filter. Add tags again. Alright, so does not contain these two and does not contain mistake. Yeah, I see. So if I trade it perfectly, if I didn't do any mistakes, I would be down minus 1.4. Minus 1.4. And unfortunately, that's not the case. Instead, I am down minus 5. So yeah, quite well. It's not a big. It is a steep difference. Like 3.6 R is a big difference. If I continue trading like this week after week, these mistakes are gonna accumulate so much. That's why it's so important to be perfect, especially if you trade a lower time frame like the 10-second and you get quite a lot of entries every week. Like I just need to focus on trading less overall. I think like having just 2 trades in a week is completely fine. I think like a good number to aim for is 5 trades per week on average. That means that sometimes it can be none, sometimes it can be 20, but on average over 100 or 1,000 weeks, maybe around 5. I think that would be a nice number to aim for. So, what to focus on next week? There we go. It's going to be week 25. Put this away. I need this to be exactly in the same distance. There it is. Okay, week 25. What do I want to focus on? So, let's do this whole thing again and really focus on the important thing. Mind your own business. That's number one. I don't want to pay attention to trade talk. I don't want to get baited into any bullshit. Do not trade stage one. Oh, and by the way, when I say bullshit, I don't mean to criticize anybody's trades. If you find profitability doing what you do, that's awesome. I call it bullshit for my rules. Bullshit is anything that does not meet my rules. That doesn't mean it's the universal right thing to do. By all means, I just want to evaluate myself based on whether or not I followed my own rules, and I didn't. That's why I'm using such harsh language with myself. All right, do not trade stage one. What else? What else? Honestly, I think those are the two main things. Mainly on C. Mainly on C. Because very often I get baited into something that looks amazing on the V or the E, like some amazing momentum comes in, but it's coming in a random area, kind of. So I should not be interested in that. So yeah, that's why I include on the C. Also, we're staying the longest time on the C, so it's the most important. What else? Of course, don't. Yeah, I'm gonna copy this one. Uh, track markets well. That's like don't lose track of markets you follow. Use alerts. Trade strong stage twos. And of course, do not hesitate. All right, that's gonna be it. And what went well? I didn't do that yet. Overall, what went well was good momentum. I mostly traded good momentum. I'm very happy about that. And my entries, honestly, except for one, were really good. Really good BNBs. So I'm happy about these two things. I'm unhappy about these ones. So yeah, that's all. I feel like this is a little bit too squished. Ooh, fuck. I need to do something like this. It's a little bit too squished, so I'm gonna move it to the side. All right, that looks better. Okay, that's all regarding this weekly analysis. As always, if anything of this sparked some thoughts in you and you want to discuss something, let me know. Shoot me a DM or tag me in Trade Talk. I'm always happy to discuss trading. And I'll see you guys next week in the markets. Enjoy your weekends. Peace.